such a cute outfit.
Thank you.
Oh, it is so great to see you. Like, how is your family?
Good.
Yeah?
My dad's doing okay. You know, we're post-surgery for his pancreatic cancer, so it's been a really long journey this year. But, you know, now she's trying to get some weight on him. And my daughter just turned 17, you know?
That's crazy.
My mom's, like, on, like, doing all this, like, diet stuff and, like, workout stuff and mindfulness stuff. So she's just, like, getting
My mom is
super
too.
healthy right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I guess just going into 2020 strong.
Get it, moms? Yeah.
Life is, you know, just grateful.
Yeah, I'm trailing a little behind her, but I'm trying to. But you adopted, actually, your 17-year-old, you adopted her when she was 12?
Well, she moved when she was 11, yeah.
Oh, when 11.
Yeah.
So why did you choose to adopt? We talk about this a lot on the show, actually. And I was talking to my assistant about this before. She's adopted. Okay. And she always feels sorry because a lot of the older kids never get adopted. It's always the babies. So was that was a strong choice for you?
I told my mom when I was 5 years old that I was going to adopt and I was going to adopt older.
Yeah.
Because that was when I found out that my dad is not my biological father.
Yeah.
And
that's
it
a
just
really
was so
beautiful thing that you
amazing
do,
to
though.
me that he, you know, married my mom when she was 18 years old with a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
And raised me as his own. That's why I'm a Dawson. Yeah. And, you know, when I figured that out and found that out, I just said, wow, like, what would that have been like? I have so many friends who are single, you know, have single parent.
Yep.
And, you know, what if I was 5 now or 6 now? Would someone have wanted to adopt me then? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to, when I get older, I'm going to adopt him. I'm going to adopt older.
And you're absolutely right. The situation completely changes. Like, it's almost like once kids hit 5 and above, it just changes. Your percentage of, like, getting adopted goes just way down.
Yeah.
And you were actually a part of a documentary about homelessness, right? Like, with youth.
Youth homelessness, yeah. It's called Lost in America. And, you know, it's for a lot of girls, you know, like my daughter would have more than likely statistically aged out and more than likely become homeless statistically because you don't have a network, you have no community around you.
You have no life skills.
And no life skills, or just like, you know, the fallback, you know, that family that's coming together and rallying to your aid to kind of grow and develop. And so there's a story about that, of a girl who ends up in foster care and ends up homeless. And the homelessness problem that you're seeing is just growing all across this country is a very serious thing. And when people talk about, you know, real housing, that could be a real benefit to society. And not it's preventative, you know? People act like it's going to cost us so much, but actually it's costing us way more not to take care of each other.
Yeah, 100%. We've actually worked with a lot of that on the show, like especially with youth and homelessness. And it's like people don't get, like, they didn't choose that. They were born into this situation. Like, nobody wakes up one day and goes, can't wait to sleep in a tent, like outside of a building. Like, nobody does that. And these kids matter. Everybody matters, like, no matter where you're from. And I thought it was really beautiful. But I do want to talk about your new show as well. You just drinking a beer in that shot is way cooler than me on any day. You just exude cool. I'm just going to let it out now. But what's your new show, Briar Patch, about?
Well, my character is suddenly given the news that her sister's died. She was a police officer and died in a car bomb. So she goes back to her hometown to investigate her sister's murder. And it just gets crazier and more wild and weirder than that. She's also works for in a Senate subcommittee. So she works for a senator who she's, you know, in having a situation with,
maybe relations
with.
Is that why you're dating Cory Booker? It was research?
No.
It was research.
No.
You are very method. That's all I'm saying. No, I had to point out, I think he's so awesome. I think this is the reason why I wanted to put it out, because I think he's so awesome. And I think it's very telling of your character, too, to want a man like that, just so strong and so independent, and knows what he wants and knows what's good for people. Yeah. He's a cool dude.
He is a really great, very cool dude.
But it was also research, too.
No,
I'm just kidding.
It's so funny, because we shot the pilot for the show in September of 2018.
Yeah.
And then Cory and I started dating in October of 2018. And I remember when the show got picked up and we started doing ADR and we were going to film the rest of it last year, I talked to the showrunner, Andy, and I was like, so art imitates life or life imitates art? I think I have the answer to that finally.
I know, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds like a cool show.
Yeah, luckily, you know, when you watch the show, it's definitely a more cynical version of looking at politics and looking at sort of the world in general, or not. But, you know, that's not the case with Cory, thank goodness.
I know, no, he seems really cool. But speaking of running for office, there's a game on the web right now to figure out your personal presidential campaign slogan. I love it. It's your name, the year you want to run for president and the last thing you texted. So I feel like it works. Mine, and I figured this out before the show, and it's awesome. Mine is Clarkson 2028. Oh shoot, you actually just reminded me that Cassie texted me, and I never got back to her. I'm such an ass. Please tell her I'm so sorry. I just remembered, grimace face. That's my slogan. Well, what is yours?
I brought out my phone.
I was like, beforehand, I was like, I cannot believe this is my last text.
Actually, I texted Cab because I was actually sending him the first 2 episodes. That's, because he gets extra first.
Yeah.
So I just went, just for you, baby. So it'd be like, Dawson 2028, just for you, baby. It sounds...
That's actually awesome.
It sounds a little bit, I remember being at the Met Ball and Rihanna was performing and then like the surprise guest was Kanye West.
Yeah.
And he came out and everyone got super excited to see him. And the first thing, he walks up to the mic with all this like rounding applause. And the first thing he says is, "You're welcome." And I was like,
God.
he's talking about running for office, and I think that should be his campaign slogan.
You're welcome.
Kanye West for president. You're welcome.
I actually say that a lot myself, so I can't make fun of him. Usually I'm like, you're welcome, but it's usually when I mess up. I will not stop talking until you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's right, and I can talk a lot. Seriously, not gonna stop. Yep, still here, not going anywhere. I see you. Don't walk away from this.